In a country like Israel, where terrorist bombings occur with horrible frequency, sirens and the sight of Orthodox Jewish litter bearers searching for human remains have become all too familiar. The victims are mostly civilians who happen to be at the wrong place at the wrong time, and now must live with the knowledge that their world may literally explode at any moment. This dread and the uncertainty that now are spreading to other countries throughout the region and the world as terrorist cells expand the battlegrounds of their undeclared war.
اوف نحن بدنا نروح السوق.
خالد رح يجيب الاكل. شبيك ما شايف؟
خالد حتجيب همبرجر عتيق.
اتصل بالهاتف وبعدين نروح برا. يلا يلا.
ماشي. نحن في الشقة.
زين.
شو أخبار اللعب الجندي؟
ليه سباقة الرياض؟ تكون في جدة الأسبوع القادم.
عندك علبة هذا؟
نعم. أنت حاضر لتجميلها؟
معانا الدهان. نحن بس ناطرين خالد.
هو جاي بكرة ومع الفرشة.
والنسوان.
شو تريد؟ لحم مشوي وشامبانيا؟
لحم مشوي يكون زين.
يوصل لك بعد الاحتفال.
عندما الدولة تحتفل.
تكون ضربة عظيمة، ضربة بطولية.
يوم سعيد. نحن بالانتظار، نحن حاضرين، نحن لا نفشل.
His name was Hussein Janaibi. I was taken last year at a terrorist training camp near Kandahar. The NSA intercepted a cell phone conversation he had this morning. They just shipped us that transcript.
Toy soldier?
Code for the victim. They're up to something.
Beyond the borders of Jordan, Syria, Iraq, Iran, and
I don't know how they live like that. Looking at people around them on the street, looking at their bags, at their eyes.
Like us in airports now.
I haven't flown in months.
We're doing the best we can.
Nobody could stop these people.
They outsmarted us. They outsmarted me.
Lisa, you shouldn't blame yourself.
Really? How do you feel? Forged any interesting visas lately? Destroyed any terrorist networks with your paint box?
I'm doing my job.
So am I. Fabrizi. I'll be right in. Saudi Arabia. A few more terrorists I didn't know about.
Lisa, Lisa, I was just saying.
I don't care what you were saying.
I don't care!
You don't look old enough to be a shrink.
I've had a lot of work done.
You know, they say jokes can be very revealing.
So I've heard.
But we're not here to talk about you, are we?
No.
Nope. Well, my life couldn't be better.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Counterterrorism's booming.
I'm sorry.
I'm doing fine.
Why are you here?
It's the director's idea. The agency is being very supportive right now.
But you don't think this is necessary?
No. My conscience is clear. I know what I have to do, and I'm doing it.
Good.
Yes, it is.
Decorating? Toy soldier?
We first heard the phrase in email traffic to a known terrorist. I added it to our list of words for NSA eavesdroppers to listen for in their Computers kicked out this conversation this morning. We believe Toy Soldier is the king of Saudi Arabia.
They're planning to kill him.
Toy Soldier's in Riyadh, so's the king. Both the king and Toy Soldier are planning to visit Jeddah next week.
Where they'll be decorated.
Paint and paintbrush. It could be explosives and detonator or weapons and ammunition. What about beefsteak?
I think that's beefsteak. The guy sounded hungry.
You heard the tape?
Not yet. I'm going over to the NSA to meet the analyst who did.
This man, Janaibi, who's he talking to?
We don't know yet.
Where are they?
Somewhere in Western Saudi Arabia.
So if we tell our friends the Saudis there's a plot to kill their king, the only hard fact we're actually telling them is that we're eavesdropping on their kingdom.
Counterterrorism's trying to find these people. Now, if they do, we can get information to the Saudis without letting them know how we got it. Or maybe the Saudi authorities already know all about it.
No, they don't. We eavesdrop on their conversations, too.
I'll work with you on this, Matt, but I don't want to lose sight of this guy.
Who is he?
He uses the name Abu Savir. He's linked to the Cole bombers, maybe the African embassy bombers. He's not in the terrorist top 10, but probably the top 50. We know he's working on something new. We just don't know what it is. So we've made him a priority. I'll help you with Saudi Arabia. You help me with him. If there are any problems, let me know.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Joshua.
Miss Fabrizzi.
Terry. Are you guys finished?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you know Adolf Hitler had a nose job?
What?
Actually, it's never been proven, but one of our people said that he did.
One of our people?
During World War II, a former journalist in Berlin joined the Psychological Warfare Department of the Office of Strategic Services, the fabled predecessor of the CIA, and he said Hitler was vain. His nose at the end was slightly bulbous and on the bridge fatty, and it was finally done in Munich.
Is this why you wanted to see me?
No. This
is very pretty.
from Iran, 10th century, the Samanid period, a major era in early Islamic pottery. You might want to read up.
Why?
You're going to make one of these.
We've got a backlog of about 1 million intercepted conversations in Arabic where the computer heard one of the words on our watch list, like death to America. But is it death to America, or is it because of Uncle Kazem's death to America I must travel? Somebody who speaks Arabic has to listen to everyone.
These people who were talking about this toy soldier, we want to locate them.
We have their cell phone numbers. Both are registered to Mustafa Ali, which doesn't do us a whole lot of good.
Arabic version of John Doe.
Right. Fictitious address given.
How's he pay his phone bill?
Cash in advance.
You don't say. Do you have any more conversations with these guys?
Yeah, one came in an hour ago. Has Khalid arrived? Yes, he's well, and the paintbrush she brought as well. The paintbrush. Khalid is worried we're being watched. He's always worried. This guy Khalid seems to be the weak sister. He says the people watching are the agents of the little Satan. He's talking about the Israelis.
Israelis.
So, how can I help you, my friend?
We have targets of interest in Saudi Arabia.
Oh, Saudi Arabia, your ally in the war against terrorism.
Targets in Saudi Arabia working against Saudi Arabia. We don't want to trip over your people. We have a report you might be working the same side of the street.
It's a big country, Saudi Arabia. I'll check with Tel Aviv.
Be a big help.
I'll let you know.
I spoke to his contact in the Mossad.
And?
Nothing. The Israelis are playing it close to the vest as usual.
Are you and your friend at the NSA ready to go?
The next time the terrorist calls, we'll be waiting. You can try to pinpoint his location.
Takes a while. He's gonna have to stay on the line.
And if he hangs up too soon, the NSA has a gadget we can use to imitate the voice of the person he's speaking to. Call him back, start another conversation.
About what?
I don't know. We'll have to play it by ear. You think he likes sports?
Just keep him talking.
خالد جاب لك الفلوس.
خالد تحت بالسيارة.
Khalid crashed the car. You can check out repair shops.
If this doesn't work, we will.
The image satellite is in position.
كنت تريد فلوس؟
ندفع بالاسبوع 900 ريال. امتى جاي اللعبه الجندي؟
لسه ما عمل تقديم من الجدول، راح ارسل لك ايجار اسبوعين للتامين.
امتى لازم ندفع حالا؟
Usually takes pictures.
I know.
It's a transponder we can use for triangulation with our geosynchronous satellite.
يوم سعيد.
You just have to keep talking long enough.
قريبا بالساعي.
Damn. We didn't get it.
They didn't get it.
Hang on.
Hang on.
I'm just gonna pull up a recording of the other side of the conversation.
لسه ما عمل تقديم من الجدول، راح ارسل لك ايجار اسبوعين للتامين. قريبا بالساعي.
I don't think he'll mind if I borrow his voice.
Not if we don't tell him.
Hi, Mom. Hi, Mom. Now we'll try to match my voice to his by filtering it through the computer. Hi, Mom. Hi, Mom.
Hi, Mom. Hi, Mom.
Just love nailing these guys.
نعم.
يكون احسن لو تاجر للشهر.
شلون احسن؟
قليل الشك. شو رايك؟
تهيألي ما تفرق.
زين اللي تقوله.
Come on. Come on.
Almost there.
Almost there. Ask him a question.
هل لاحظت شيء غير عادي؟
عندك اي سبب للشك؟
لا كنت أقول.
Home sweet home.
We got it.
Got it.
زين.
Miss Lowell?
Yes?
I'm Sam Brown. I understand you're going to be painting our bull.
Right. But there's a little more to it than just painting.
Yes, ma'am.
I'll have to prep it with ongobe first and then bisque the ball. You see these age effects? I'll have to stain it. Maybe sculpt a few of these edges.
Yeah, it's all right, ma'am, but I'd be careful of the sculpting if I were you.
Well, the clay's not fully dry. It should be malleable.
Maybe a little, ma'am, but it's not clay. It's Semtex. Plastic explosive. The right detonator will take out this room.
We located the men in an apartment in Jeddah, gave the address to the Saudis.
Without telling the extent of our eavesdropping on their kingdom.
Told him we got the lead from an informant in Dubai.
Good.
The Saudis arrested 3 men. They found explosives and a map of the king's motorcade. They were assassins. I've put in a request to speak with them, sir. They have links to other terrorist cells. They'll have information we can use.
They'll have their heads chopped off as soon as the Saudis are convinced they're guilty.
That would be a waste.
Not entirely. We protected the king. We generated goodwill with Saudi Arabia.
So everybody's happy.
You got one of our people arrested. One of the men that you gave to the Saudis was not a terrorist. He was working deep undercover for us.
Why didn't you tell us before?
I didn't know we were talking about the same operation, and you wouldn't tell me what your target was.
You wouldn't tell us you had a target.
Now, these people were plotting to assassinate the king. Was your man there to help or to watch?
Neither. The assassination was going to be frustrated by a last-minute problem we were going to create, causing the terrorists to retreat and regroup, with our man still inside telling us everything.
Were you ever gonna tell us?
Now that you're sharing information with your Arab allies in your war against terrorism?
We wouldn't have told him about an Israeli spy.
So we were overcautious. We have to be. It keeps us alive.
Except for your man in the Saudi dungeon.
We want you to get him out.
He's not our man.
You got him arrested. You can't go to the Saudis and say it's a terrible mistake. I'm an Israeli spy. I cut off his head twice.
So what do you suggest that we tell him?
That he's an American spy.
I made an appointment with the Saudi ambassador.
What are you gonna tell him?
The same story the Israelis told you, that one of the men the Saudis arrested is an American agent. That we were going to make sure the assassination didn't happen. That we deeply regret not informing them of this earlier.
Do you think they'll go for it?
Maybe, if I bribe or threaten.
Well, we've got to get this man out.
If we get him, he's blown.
He's useless as a spy.
But he's alive, so he knows things about the terrorist methods and their operations. We've got to make sure the Israelis promise to share everything.
Well, that would be a first. We hold back on them, they hold back on us.
Which is an insane game that no one is winning!
Joshua, the man who dropped off the bowl, Mr. Brown,
Charming fellow.
I need to know what this is about.
Hitler had a brother who married an English woman.
What?
Report on Hitler's psyche, prepared in 1942 for the president. You know thine enemy. They finally declassified it a few years ago.
Joshua, I need to talk to you about that bowl.
Hitler's English sister-in-law, Bridget Hitler.
Bridget Hitler.
She and her son wrote to Adolf and told him they were going to sell an interview about him to an American magazine. Hitler was very nervous about this. He gave them $10,000 and told them to tell the magazine that they'd made a mistake. Their relative was not the famous Nazi, but some other Adolf Hitler. Adolf Hitler, the shoemaker? Adolf Hitler, life insurance salesman? Was there something you wanted to talk to me about?
Mr. Brown? Hi. I tried to reach you.
I don't have a permanent office here.
Or a phone number.
Why did you try to reach me?
Well, you left pretty quickly after you dropped off the bowl. I guess we shouldn't talk here.
Doesn't make any difference.
But I wanted to ask you about the bowl.
Don't.
If I'm gonna work on it, I ought to know where...
Ms. Lowell, I know you're pretty new here, but you must have learned your first day that we work on a need-to-know basis. You're doing your job. That's all you need to know.
I'm glad you came back. Director's idea again?
No, this time it was mine.
Oh, good.
I have to ask you a question. How do you know your work has value?
I see positive changes in the people I treat.
Positive by whose standards? Isn't that subjective?
Why are you asking me this?
Because I need to know that what I'm doing isn't just an exercise in futility.
But if you're doing something, then you're making a difference every day.
What if 20 years from now, someone else is standing in my place, facing the same problems? What have I really accomplished?
A woman was walking down the street. Quick story. She sees a little urchin girl. No parents, homeless. Sweetest little girl you'd ever see. And she's all alone in the world. The woman is really affected. She calls out to God. How can you let this happen? Why don't you do something? And God calls back. I did do something. I made you.
I once shook hands with someone who had shaken hands with Adolf Hitler. Hitler and I, one handshake removed.
Kismet.
Aren't you supposed to be doing something with that?
It's a bomb.
Actually, not yet. A detonator will be secreted in the bottom later.
Did they tell you what it's for?
No.
Did you ask?
No.
And who are they?
Us.
One of the assassins we arrested is your spy.
There was no assassination. We made sure of that.
And now I suppose you want us to give him back to you.
That's right.
We only arrested him because you told us about him. You told us they were all assassins.
He was supposed to get out of there before your people arrived. There was a miscommunication.
Miscommunications happen. Why didn't he tell us about this during his interrogation?
Maybe he was afraid that you wouldn't believe him and that that would cause additional interrogation.
Please, what is this about?
Mr. Ambassador, we would like the man released. We have nothing but respect for your king and your government, and we look forward to ever closer collaboration and mutual assistance in the future.
He is not to set foot in Saudi Arabia again. You give us a full briefing. Everything he learned and everything he told you.
That will be our pleasure.
يلا نازلوا
You're the American.
Yes.
Why am I? Why did you?
Who are they?
Israeli intelligence. You're going home.
Mossad? What are you doing? What the hell is going on?
امشي they're going to kill me they're going to kill me
What the hell is going on? What are you doing?
What the hell happened over there?
We've been set up, sir. I believe we just helped the Mossad stage a kidnapping. The Israelis used us. When Janabi saw them, he ran like hell. They tackled him and dragged him into the car.
So he isn't a Mossad agent, he is a terrorist.
Whom the Israelis want to interrogate.
Bad enough to lie to us, piss us off?
Apparently.
Do we tell the Saudis, sir?
No.
I still want to interrogate him.
Do it. I'm gonna call Tel Aviv.
Lisa, I'll meet your plane.
Hello, Terry.
It's not what you think.
I came for my passport.
Are you? You need to sign here. Non-official cover. You're a travel agent. Graphics. It's for you.
Fabrizzi, I've got to get to the airport.
You should see this. Junaibi, the guy the Israelis snatched, the day before we got him busted, he went to a French cultural center in Jeddah, used a computer, went on the internet. We know what he downloaded. Go ahead, Lex.
Cairo newspaper. The latest hit song from Damascus. And do you know what steganography is?
Coded messages hidden in plain sight.
Right. You see a bunch of random letters, you know it's a code, you start trying to crack it, but message hidden in an MP3 file or a stupid email or
her.
Watch. I studied this picture for a long time, top to bottom. Then I found this. The money shot.
What's it mean?
We don't know. The NSA is trying to crack it, and we know who it came from. Abu Severe.
He's connected to Janaibi?
He sent him a message.
We need everything you can get on Abu Severe.
So far, just an old email address he used to send his message.
It would be nice to have a win. We've been taking a beating on the Hill and the press.
This business with the Israelis scamming us, I guess it didn't help.
Pierce has been called into the select committee again. They found out about his lying to the Saudis.
Wasn't his fault. The Israelis put him in an impossible situation.
No, I don't think the committee is going to buy that excuse.
We're managing our enemies, we're managing our friends, we're new threats every week.
That's why you're here, Jackson. For this moment, to help us make sense of it.
Yeah, okay. I'll bring order out of chaos. Anything else?
Find Abu Severe.
There he is.
What'd you say to him?
That he's a lying son of a bitch.
Mr. Calvin and Miss Fleming, travel agent. What brings you to this corner of Israel? It's not very touristic.
We want to talk to you about Junabi. The Saudis gave him to us.
And you gave him to us.
Why would you lie to us? Putting our relationship at risk at such a crucial time.
For your country, Miss Fabrizi, is a crucial time for a few months. For us, 53 years. Terrorists killing us at bus stops, in pizzerias, in discotheques, in our homes. In our homes. We have reason to believe that he has information about suicide bombers. Our suicide bombers, the ones who terrorize Jerusalem and Tel Aviv.
We want him.
We don't trust your methods. You get him into custody, you get him a judge, you get him a lawyer, you get him his rights, you let him sit silent.
Would you rather we torture him?
We need specific information from him now, before the next fanatic with a bomb in his backpack should get on board one of our buses. I'll let you know when we're finished. In the meantime, I recommend that you visit a lot. Seafood's excellent.
Your officer dropped the audio transmitter outside the compound. We're getting this thermal image from the satellite.
Are you ready to tell me now?
That's the Israeli.
I told you. I do not know.
The prisoner.
Who do you know in East Jerusalem? Nobody. I told you about Saudi Arabia. Everything. That is all I know about. Who do you know who recruits suicide bombers in East Jerusalem? Nobody!
Thought about quitting.
I'm sure you did.
But then I thought, what did I think I would be doing here? Join the CIA, not the Girl Scouts. And now we're at war.
And what else have you been telling yourself?
People expect to be bombed by planes, not a 1,000-year-old antique dish in dark ochre with 4-petaled blossoms.
It's not fair. It's not sporting.
Child could pick it up. Child could be in the room. So how's Hitler?
I don't know.
Seems like you know an awful lot.
I know he was one of the most evil men who ever lived, that he plunged the world into war, killed millions of people, tens of millions. And now I've learned that he liked vaudeville and Jewish comedians and was a sexual pervert and refused to dance and paced his office while he worked, but never from end to end, always diagonally. Always diagonally. I hoped I might understand. There's no understanding.
Thank you.
What have you found out?
We're still asking questions about suicide bombers in Jerusalem.
Nothing on Abu Severe.
He's not their priority. He didn't blow up their ship or bomb their embassies.
Lisa, we've got something new on Severe from other sources. He's been moving money around, substantial amounts, and the last time he did this was right before the embassy bombings.
How does Janabi sound?
Weak, afraid. I think they're almost done with
We
him.
can wait until they're finished. Question him ourselves.
If he lives.
Lisa, you want to find Severe? Let the Israelis work on Junaibi. They owe us that.
How was Eilat?
We didn't make it.
Oh, too bad. There are a lot of hotel rooms available since the terrorists started their latest round of blowing us up. You want Junabi? We're done with him.
Did you get what you wanted?
No.
So everything you did to get him, to interrogate him, was for nothing?
Instead of getting beheaded, he's going to prison. And we acted on the best information that we had. You want him? He's asleep. I can wake him up.
Actually, we wouldn't want to interfere with your handling of this matter. We value our relationship with your agency and would like to take the first step toward repairing any breach by sharing some intelligence with you.
What kind of intelligence?
Are you aware that your prisoner accessed the internet while he was in Saudi Arabia and that he received a message?
You said you were finished.
Just a few more questions.
You said I could sleep.
Shaun, fast. I need to know about a person who calls himself Abu Severe.
You said we were finished.
I'll tell you when we're finished.
Are we going to be in this war for 50 years?
Maybe.
Are we going to win?
Maybe.
And that's enough for you to keep going.
Hey, if I get a maybe, I'm doing good. Look at the situation. I get brought in off the street to ask my friend in the Mossad a favor. He lies to me. I soldier on. He lies to me again. For a change, he totally screws me. Kidnaps a terrorist. So I go to him again, say, please, can I talk to your prisoner? He tells me to get lost. I want to strangle him. But I just smile and walk away because I got a job to do. If I keep doing it, maybe we catch a break. And then we do, maybe, because the prisoner knows something we want to know. Maybe. So here's the maybe. Beats the hell out of no.
Yeah.
The Israelis got something. Junaibi knew the name of a courier for Abu Severe.
He gave it up?
Yes, and we know where he is. We have an agent in position to follow him.
To Abu Severe?
If we're lucky.
Good news?
Maybe.
He who is content with his own opinion runs into danger. Inscription on the bowl, that's what it means.
Decorative calligraphy. One of the great contributions of Islamic art to the world.
Kufic script. The Prophet Muhammad's cousin was supposedly the first one to use it.
I'm so glad that you've developed another historical interest.
Ms. Lowe.
Mr. Brown?
If it's ready.
Beautiful, don't you think?
Beautiful enough. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I did go back to the Hitler material one more time.
And what, you discovered he wore yellow underwear? He liked onions or hated the circus?
Actually, he loved the circus, especially the tightrope walkers. But you were right. There was no point.
In what?
All that understanding. There was only one useful thing to know about Hitler, especially then. He had to be stopped.
The prisoner gave up some information.
Great. What?
The name of a courier who sometimes goes to Abu Sabir.
That's terrific. Thank you.
I think that he might know some more.
Really?
We can only press so far. He's sleeping again. Tomorrow, we send him to a military prison. Unless you want to send him back.
Back where?
We got him from the Saudis. Under false pretenses, we could return him. They can be far more persuasive than either you or I.
Send him to your prison.
Americans. When will you learn to do what you have to do? These people are your blood enemies. I know about Abu Sabir.
So do we.
So you know that while you're indulging in moral qualms, he sits undisturbed in his secret house somewhere, plotting to murder your countrymen. Enjoying his house, enjoying his books, enjoying his hobbies. Did you know that when he's not devising ways to massacre Americans, he's collecting antique Islamic art?
Really?
عليكم السلام ورحمة الله. تفضل يا شيخ. كيفك يا مهاب؟
اهلا وسهلا. قطعة ثمينة هدية من المدرسين في البشوار.
هذا الشيخ منتظرها يا شيخ.
اتوقع هدية الشكر للأتعاب.
ما شاء الله ما شاء الله. لازم نفتش فيه.
فتشنا.
حياك الله. خذ يا شيخ خذ.
هذه راح تنور يومه.
نور يا ابني.
نور يوم.
ماشي.
اشوفك
رايح
بعدين.
فين؟
انا انتظركم عبر الشارع.
حياك الله الشباب ضعيف.
اهلا وسهلا.
السلام عليكم. افتح يا شيخ.
This is everything we have on their visa formalities, but we've got another traveler crossing the border next week. Another traveler in a few days. He'll collect the latest travel entries, and we will update our records at that time.
Hey, how's it going here?
I don't know.
Is this everything you have on the visas?
Yeah.
Great. I'm sorry about my behavior the other day. You didn't deserve it.
It's okay.
I was kind of a bitch. Anyway, I didn't want things to be weird, so thanks.
You're welcome.
Hi.
You missed your last appointment.
I was out of town.
Good trip?
Very.
I'm glad.
So I have a story for you now.
Okay.
Old man is on a beach. The night before, there'd been a terrible storm, and thousands of starfish had washed ashore. One by one, the old man is putting them back in the water. A young man comes up to him and asks, "What are you doing?" The old man smiles and says, "I'm helping the starfish find their way home." The young man looks at him like he's crazy and says, "Well, you never get all of them back in the water before they die, so why even bother? What does it matter?" The old man gently places a tiny starfish in a tide pool and says, "Matters to her." Thank you.
You're welcome.
My father told me that story when I was a little girl. I'd almost forgotten it.
It's a good one. I'm going to steal it.
I'm not coming back here again.
The latest round of terrorist bombings in Israel has produced a wave of retaliatory attacks and a widespread feeling that the situation in the Middle East has reached a point of historical crisis. American diplomatic efforts have so far failed to produce any reduction in the region's tensions. In what may possibly be a related development, we have unconfirmed reports from Yemen of a fatal explosion in the compound of a terrorist leader known as Abu Sabir, who has been linked to several attacks on American lives and property. If this assassination has actually occurred, we still do not know who is responsible. Candidates would be rival factions within his organization or an agency of the United States government. But both the Pentagon and the CIA have declined to comment. When we return, an inside report on the president's new budget priorities.